welcome to an episode of Literary Gladiators, the show where we discuss and debate literature in all of its forms. If it's written work, it's game. Let's meet the panel.
Hi, I'm Larry.
I'm Breanna.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Josh. Bree, welcome back to our panel.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
It's great to have you. And this is the third season where the four of us take part in a discussion.
And I keep saying it's nice to meet you.
It's always fun to partake because I'm surrounded by a lot of great perspectives and
Oh, thank you.
wise people. Alrighty then, today we're going to be going over a poet from the Romantic period, and that poet is William Blake, and the poem we're going over is London.
Bridges falling down, falling down, falling down.
No, not that one.
I think you'd make more of a scary lady than a fair lady.
Thank you. What?
That would be, I think
Just send
that'd
it to
be-
me on Facebook.
Already, our discussion point for this particular poem is, what do you feel this particular poem has to say about London during this particular time? Charlie.
This is in Songs of Experience, not in Songs of Innocence. Songs of Innocence, most of you may know, is all happy, happy, happy. Songs of Experience is like, honey, would you just be the, you know where I'm going with this. So, of course, this isn't Songs of Experience. So we'll say the child has grown, is now a full-grown adult, or just hit 18 and is going to the bars at night. I'm just kidding, bad joke. I don't condone that, but still. London bridges it's falling down. London is a mess. There's, that's what I think. There's war, poverty, no more happiness.
I think this particular poem explores something that's bleak, and that is life for the common man.
Yeah, and a lot of that would be.
And because London is very much perceived during this time for royalty and
Yes.
for the niceness that makes up the flow of the country, but
And
it has just as much to do about industry, the rise of the Industrial Revolution, and also the people that work to make London the place that it is. I copied down lines 9 to 12, and the excerpt: how the chimney sweepers cry, every blackening church appals, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls.
I was gonna.
It's their work that makes London the place that it is and allows it to strive.
Yeah.
And you cannot forget that.
And also, with the you have the realization of a really bad life. That's because you don't have And I think I wrote 2 papers about the chimney sweepers, and they did not have it easy. They're just little boys, and why? Because they can fit in small places. This is way before we had child protection law and OSHA.
The Industrial Revolutions, even in America,
Yeah.
were heavy on child labor, and it was really
Bad.
Yeah, it was pretty.
It just
There was no. Their education was so minimal. It was only enough that you needed to know in order to complete.
Can you read?
These
Can you
jobs.
write? Can you do simple math? That's it.
Larry, Bree?
That's it.
Well, no, I more or less agree that it is definitely about working class. The last 2 lines are curious to me. What do you think he's trying to say there? Can you read them?
Please.
Yeah, these last 2 there. So, oh no, wait, actually, it would be the last 4 lines.
Oh, but most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful Harlot's curse. Harlot's curse.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's French or not, but blasts the newborn infant's tear and blights with plagues the marriage hearse.
I think it just kind of shows again how bleak London is, because they're talking about the back streets and prostitution. People are desperate. Disease.
How bleak London really is.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's we have honey, we have and you gotta feed every mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And let's put it this way, and I don't mean to be blunt, but if let's say Tommy, Jeff, all these kids are fed except the youngest, someone's got to go out and make some extra cash to go out and get a little bit of bread and potatoes to get and how are we going to get that cash? Well, we don't want to steal, but there's something else you can do, which
Unfortunately, people like to conceal these problems and look at the glories. In this era of time, it was King George III who, the way we perceive him, not so pretty.
Yeah.
And then the people between him and Queen Victoria.
I kind of see too, like the third part. They're saying I guess if someone has to be at fault, it's kind of the royalty and the church, because those are the people are suffering at their hand.
It's
the soldiers' blood runs down palace walls.
And royalty and the church is what we see as London.
Mm-hmm.
We see that they are the ones that are in control. They're the ones that are meant to take care of those below them. But the fact that
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, so the poem shows like these two worlds that live like side by side,
and it doesn't seem like anything's going wrong in their little
right in their
utopia.
enclosures on the inside of those walls. And but it's amazing. These two such disparate experiences are happening in such close proximity to each other.
Mm-hmm.
If I say something, please nobody get it's. I see a little bit of hypocrisy in there. I can't talk today. I'm glad you were still with me.
Just keep in mind, we have a nice amount of British viewers.
Yeah. So yes, we thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy it. But here in our own country, here there's I see a lot of it as well. Let's just put this. I'm not watching TV for the past 6 years. I, practice what you preach. I'm basically, let's say I have a nice huge house and I'm running for president, but I want to make a good impression, and I really want to do what's right. Donate that huge house to some small country that can use a house like that. I'm neutral. I'm like Switzerland. I'm neutral, but I do vote. But still, and I like I said, I know I'm deviating, but there's a reason why. Even back then, you have your government who is cuckoo, I think, and even today it's worse. But you still have the money, the power, the greed, and you have the people who are working for you, who are earning their benefits and whatnot. Like I said, I don't want to go any further than that because I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to say the wrong thing or step out of line.
I think there's a Facebook meme that is illustrating exactly what you're saying. If your church can be like this, the size of a stadium, and the pastor's house can look like this, which is a mansion-looking residence,
now
then it's about time.
And I know who the pastor of that church is. And
there's still people going hungry.
Yeah, and honestly, it comes down to practice what you preach. If you have, I was always taught, if you have 2 coats and your neighbor has none, give one. Don't be afraid to give. Especially if you're in power.
Any final thoughts?
London is a beautiful place. I've never been there, but
This gives me a different.
yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now it's a beautiful place. I think.
It pretty much goes to show you that London is just like any city.
Yeah. It could be like New York. My mom's going to New
Probably
York tomorrow.
most-
I'm like this.
Most like New York, because that's another area where you have such disparate
Yep.
communes of people living among each other.
New York is infinitely glorified, but if you look deep down,
Frank Sinatra,
it's
New York.
not as pretty as it. You need a lot of makeup in order to conceal the drastic acne.
Right.
I
But I kind of like the proximity aspect, right, where you have Wall Street there, whose actions have had horrible effects over the past 10 years on our country and our economy, and living among them and walking past them, the homeless and people that are the most directly affected by the callous ways they conduct their business. I think that's just a really interesting dynamic about how these are your neighbors, and they suffer at your hand.
Also, let's get back to William Blake. William Blake was, people saw him as a bit of a madman, even his contemporaries in the Romantic movement. He was politically outspoken, and he didn't reserve any. He didn't reserve himself, I would say. He was, if he wanted to say something, he said it.
He spoke his mind,
and it's reflective in London, and quite revealing too. I'll leave a link below to this major British poets collection, and I will also leave a link down to a complete collection of Blake's poetry, which has everything that he has written.
This is Snapple, not anything else. Okay, so in case I have any prospective employers or people I work with, it's Snapple. You know me.
Thanks for tuning in, and for now, keep reading.
And keep having Snapple.